Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome you all and call to order the Taos County Board of County Commissioners regular meeting of Tuesday, June 20th, 2023 at 9:06 a.m. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Romero,
Here.
Commissioner Vihil,
Present.
Commissioner Mascareñas,
Here.
Vice Chair Romero,
Present.
Chair Brush.
Present. Thank you very much. And for our Pledge of Allegiance and salute to the flag of New Mexico, I would like to ask our fire team, our marshal and our chief to come forward. And if everyone will stand, our fire marshal, James Hampton, will lead us in the pledge, followed by our fire chief, Mike Cordova, leading us in the salute to the flag of New Mexico.
You all join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I salute the flag of the United States symbol. Oh, perfect. Thank you. I salute the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. Almost had it. Thank you.
I do it all the time. Thank you, gentlemen. Exactly. You know, if you don't do it regularly, it's not going to stay. This takes us to agenda item 6, which is approval of our agenda this morning. Commissioners, what are your wishes?
I move we approve the agenda.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Vihil and Vice Chair Romero. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Vihil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Yes. Thank you very much. Agenda item 7. I'm going to ask Mr. Brent Jaramillo, our county manager, to come up for a very special edition. They always are all special, but this one's extra special edition of awards and recognitions. We have some newness and some history this morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Jessica Stern. She's our new Economic Development Director. She started last week and has hit the ground running. She brings a lot of enthusiasm to the position, and we look forward to working with her. We've sat down with her and gave her the vision of what we'd like for the department, and so she's already getting to work in the community, meet with community members, business leaders. She's already met with Peter Mitchell from the New Mexico Economic Development Department, did a site tour also of Humble Brands. So she hit the ground running. There's also an economic development course that's been in New Mexico for 20 plus years. Timing is very well, so she'll be attending that 1-week course down in Silver City in a couple of weeks. So look forward to working with Jessica, and she's right away become a part of the team. I've never seen somebody become a blend with the team so quickly, and I think day 3 they were already had her buying the M&Ms. I don't think that was day 2, but by day 3, they had already convinced her that she was supposed to buy the M&Ms next.
I understand how this works.
Do you want to say anything more?
I'm honored and delighted to be in this position and look forward to working with you all. It's truly a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jessica. We're really excited to have you as part of the team. Look forward to some good things to come. Thank you.
So also it started last week is our facilities director, Scott Frost. Scott previously worked with us and then left employment with us, and he's returned. So he's also hit the ground running, and he's working very closely with Jason and myself. And so like I said, he hit the ground running, and we'll introduce you to him a little bit later. I think probably only Commissioner Mascareñas might know Scott. I understand they're lives 2-3 properties or fields down, I shouldn't say properties, a couple of fields down from Commissioner Mascarenhas.
Thank you. It's wonderful to see these key positions being filled. So thank you, and thank you to our HR team. I see Gina back there for working to get people in the positions we need them in. Thank you.
So item B, if Erica and her husband could come forward and her granddaughter. Is this number 2? Or
This is number 1.
number 1?
She's sitting with my mom.
Audience. So Chief Cordova, Fire Marshal Hampton, Mr. Varela, you could please come forward as well. There's a couple different presentations. I know former Commissioner Fambro might be walking in. He also did have a few words for Erica as well. Well, Erica began her career with Taos County on December 31st, 1996. Throughout the years, we've been able to see Erica grow and become an outstanding EMT who has shown professionalism, compassion, and genuine care for the people she helped. I know it goes without saying, but all of our public safety departments provide essential services that often go unnoticed, but they are silent heroes. On behalf of Taos County, I also would like to thank Erica for her dedicated service and for the 26 plus years of dedicated service. The other thing that I think is, I thought about this last night is, and I don't know if this has happened before, but we also have 2 retirees out of the same family. Her mother, Becky Paras Mondragon, also did retire from Taos County. So we have a mother-daughter that have retired. And the other thing that I could say about Erica is she was always fighting for her coworkers and fighting for what was right at the department. And she wasn't shy about it. And nobody would ever use those words for Erica, that she was shy, but she didn't hesitate to point something out that needed to be changed. So we are going to miss Erica, and I know she had a lot of great friends that she's met within the department, and I know they're going to miss her as well. So we also have a certificate of retirement presented to Erica Paras. The Taos County Board of Commissioners and the County Manager would like to honor and thank you for your dedication and service to Taos County and to our community for the past 27 years, for your devotion and hard work throughout these years. Enjoy this new journey of your life and happy retirement. Presented this 20th day of June 2023. Signed Commissioner Bob Romero, District 1, Miguel Romero Jr., Commissioner District 2, Darlene Vigil, Commissioner District 3, and Jeanette Brush, Commissioner District 4, Ronald Mascarenhas, Commissioner District 5, and Brent Jaramillo, County Manager. We'd also like to present you with this coin. This is Taos County Board of Commissioners. This recipient of this coin has been recognized for your outstanding commitment to Taos County. Thank you, Erica.
Thank you.
I'm going to tell you where we hold it. And then the Chief and David have a few words as well.
Morning, Commissioners. So 26 years plus, well, that's like, Rika, you've been doing this a very long time, let's say. Words can't express the gratitude we have for what you've done for all of us, for your community, and what you're still gonna do for your community. And just know it's hard for us. Don't think we didn't forget about you. We don't want to celebrate your day or anything. We've been busy. We've hit the ground running, doing a lot of things. And I don't think we want you to go yet. But, you know, when first grandchild came, I was like, okay, she'll be good. But once that second baby came, it was like, she's going to be a grandma. We lost her. And I don't blame you. Family is very important. And exactly with what your article said last week, that was just you. That was all you. It was, and this has never been about you at all. It's always been about everybody here, about us, you know, teaching your crews, being that strong female leader that my girls need, that your grandbabies need, your daughter, everybody this community needs. And we thank you for everything you've done, the 20,000 plus calls you've ran in your time, and your family as a whole, of what they've done for Taos County and what they're going to continue to do. We're shorthanded, and she has took it upon herself to help the town of Taos with the events this summer. And thank you. She saw a need and we couldn't fulfill it, and here she is, right? She's still filling the needs of the community, and we appreciate that. And from me to you, I love you, and thank you for all the times in my office where I can vent, and all she would say is, "Don't worry, I got you." Like, okay, thank you. But enjoy your time, enjoy your grandbabies, enjoy your family. Travis has a couple of years left, but after that, enjoy everything. And if you ever need anything, let us know. And like I always say, we won't fill your boots. We'll just leave them at the door for you if you ever want to come back.
I forgot them, so they're gonna probably stay there.
And I know, you know, Commissioner up there can probably say thank you a lot for what you did for one of his boys. So you've hit and touched all of us in here, and we appreciate everything you've done, and don't think that we don't. And if we've ever felt like we've done you wrong or anything, we never intended to, nothing. We love you. And I tell you what, thank you for trucking along with us and keeping us in the right direction, because I veered off of time or two, and you've always brought us back being that leader in EMS. And thank you for everything. We do appreciate it, and we're going to miss you. Thank you. So with that said, we have this for you presented to Erica Padas in appreciation for your 26 years of faithful, dedicated service to Taos County Fire and EMS Department, 2023. Thank you. Guys.
All right. I just want to say that it's been an adventure, that's for sure. But it's time for it to be over. Thank you, Brent, for everything you did for me. Miguel. I really can't talk right now, but thanks.
Miguel? Miguel?
Yes, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see a grown man cry right now. In 1997, my oldest boy was involved in an ATV accident. Erica was one of the paramedics. He died in the ambulance. She brought him back. We got to the hospital. He died again in there. She pushed the doctor out of the way and revived him. And to this day, he'll be 30 years old in August. That's his guardian angel. And she's going to be part of my family forever. Thank you, Erica.
Thank you, Miguel. That pretty much says it all. But Commissioner Vigil, please.
I just also want to express my gratitude to Erica. And she is her mother's daughter, who we all love here in Taos County. And so I just want to say thank you, Erica, and I wish you the best.
Beautiful. Thank you, Commissioner Vigil. Commissioner Mascareñas.
Erica, please pass those trades on to your grandkids, your granddaughters, and that way they can continue your family legacy and tradition. And we wish you the best of luck in your retirement. And if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to call.
Thank you. Vice Chair Romero.
Thank you. It's good to see second multiple generations retiring from Taos County. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. And I know I don't know you that well, but I do know what your peers have said, and I do know about your fight and your sticking up for what's right and what your team and colleagues need, because I don't know if I was even running for office yet when I heard from you. So that told me a lot. Thank you. Our community needs you, people like you. Thank you for bringing your beautiful family here today because they too have sacrificed for you to be able to do this job. The kind of job that our first responders do, like you bring your entire family along. So thank you to all of your family who is here. And I'll just simply say, I hope you take those 20,000 calls you were on as 20,000 thank you notes with you. So, thank you very much. And how about a photo?
Come down, I guess.
Did he come in?
Erica, thank you again from the bottom of our hearts, and we wish you only goodness, joy, and love as you go forward into this next phase. Thank you. And that takes us, it's a bit of a challenge this morning. Item 8 on our agenda is public comment. And if anybody would like to follow that, no, I'm kidding. Public comment is open to, first we'll listen to anyone in the room, and then we'll open up the phone line. And for you watching online who might want to call in, that number is 575-737-6310. Don't call quite yet. Anyone here in the room? We'll have 3 minutes. And as a friendly reminder, we can't go back and forth and have a conversation with you, no matter how fascinating your topic, because it wasn't published last Friday in our agenda. So your friends and neighbors didn't have a chance to show up and listen to the topic as well. So if you could please just introduce yourself and where you live, and we'll try to gently remind you about 3 minutes. Just one second, if we could move the microphone up, Brent.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. No, then no problem.
My name is John Stutzman. I live in El Prado. I've been living here in Taos County for 46 years. I've been asked by numerous veterans of Taos County to comment on the status of the cemetery. And I would like to continue that discussion with questions like, when is the final completion date? To have a meeting with Mr. Sanchez with numerous veterans separately so we can ask questions. I went down to the legislature and argued for more money this year, which we received to make the total required to complete the project. And we are definitely concerned about getting a completion date. I went through the budget and there's no phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3. It's just a budget of numbers. And we are sitting there and waiting because we don't know how long it takes to put a hole in the ground. Several of our veterans have died during the course and we have no place to put them. And I think it behooves Taos County to move this project rapidly along to completion. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Tutzman. Thank you for your comments. Is there anybody else in the room who would like to speak? Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners, administrative staff. First, I want to start off with saying thank you. When you said she is her mother's daughter, Erica is. Former Commissioner Paras Mondragon was an instrumental person when we started the Ag Center. She was very supportive of that, very supportive of our 4-H program. And in her footsteps, Erica followed with that and has always supported us with 4-H and any youth program and any nonprofit organization. And any time that she has been asked to help out, even at the Sheriff's Posse Rodeo, Erica has always been there, along with her sidekick. So I want to thank the Paras family for raising such an instrumental person in our community. Thank you. Thank you. They have become part of our family, starting with her father working for my mom at Taos Gravel Products, and that became a family. And we thank them. Thank you very much. Next, I want to introduce formally that we do have a county extension agent. He has accepted the position. He will be a resident by marriage in Taos County here soon. His name is Will Wright. He will start July 1st, hitting the ground running. He will go with me to Las Cruces for our annual state 4-H conference and spend a whole week down there in the miserable heat, but he'll be doing all of his administrative stuff with New Mexico State University. So we will have an agent. He comes to us with knowledge, both academically and secondly, from acquired knowledge with noxious weed, invasive weeds, and the ranching industry. His background is mostly in forestry, though. That's what his education was. He was a professor at Highlands University. He has both his master's and his bachelor's degree in agriculture, so we didn't have to negotiate on salary, which was like a blessing. Darlene laughed Commissioner Villa laughed at our hiring meeting when we talked about that. And secondly, I want to formally invite everyone here. New Mexico State University Small Farms Task Force is hosting a Northern Livestock School. It's for youth, not just pertaining to the 4-H and FFA, but to youth that are raising animals, want to know more about nutrition, how to raise them, how to go forward with a marketing program with it. Commissioner Mascareñas has one of his grandkids that's going to be involved in it this weekend. It is Friday, starting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 5 o'clock, Saturday from 9 to 4. We have instructors coming in to instruct for lamb, goat, and swine. It's going to be held at the Ag Center, so please come by, have lunch with us on Saturday. It will be a great experience for the youth, not only for the youth, but for the adults and the parents helping these kids out. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Good news this morning. Thank you. Is there anybody else in the room who would like to come up and make a few comments? Okay, then I'm going to turn the phone off of Do Not Disturb. If you are listening to us online, please call 575-737-6310. Again, that's 575-737-6310. We still need to introduce like the history fact of the day while we wait. You up for that next time? One last time, 575-737-6310. Okay, then we're going to go back on Do Not Disturb and move on to agenda item 9. 9A is a presentation regarding the Taos Nest project. And Matt, your name's on the agenda, but I think, okay, we've got Mr. Matt Whitner, who's the community liaison, and Catherine Hummel, the executive director of Dreamtree/Taos Nest. So good morning.
Good morning, everybody. How are you? Good. Happy to be here. appreciate y'all's time. And like I said, glad to be here, be able to present Taos Nest to you all. Taos Nest, navigating emergency support together. Okay. I'm Matt Whitener. I'm the community liaison for Dream Tree Project. It's Catherine Hummel, our executive director. And I'm going to be doing this little update for you guys. So bear with me. Okay. So Dream Tree, as you all know, we provide youth services is what we're known for. We have our youth shelter right here. We have our transitional living program there on campus and off campus for our youth. And we also have our AmeriCorps Enchanted Circle Corps, AmeriCorps. Our services that we provide for everyone is our street outreach, our community housing, and Nest, navigating emergency support together. You're going to hear that because I kind of think that's important. Everybody knows what Nest stands for. So what is Taos Nest? So it is that building right across the street there, the old senior citizen building, okay? And it's a beautiful building in a perfect location. It is going to be a one-stop service, navigation, and resource center for anyone who needs assistance, anyone, okay? It's going to be an emergency overnight shelter for all adults 18 and over. It's going to be housed on one side by Dream Tree Project, Heart of Taos, Taos Coalition to End Homeless, which is the men's shelter, who we will be absorbing in, and then Youth Heartline, along with hopefully others. And I don't know, are you guys actually looking at the presentation, or do you have that? Okay. All right. Like I said, though, you know where it's at. The beautiful building right over there. We've cleaned it when we moved in at the first of the year. We went in, you know, as well as the individuals that were there before us, you know, after they cleaned all their stuff out, we went in and cleaned it up. And yeah, it's going to be nice. It's okay. So there we go. But right here, if we go to, there we go. So that's what it looks like. It's clean. And it's like that right now. So thank you. If you can go to the next, there we go. And right here is kind of a floor plan of, as you can see in the dark blue lines, the construction updates that we will be doing to the building to configure it to set up for the needs of those that we're going to be serving. So I go over it, but it's a little bit hard. It'd be easier just to walk you through the building one day. So let me know whenever you're available, we can do that. And lastly, on the last slide, you can see the progress to date. We got the Nest development team is in place. Short-term lease is secured. Funding is secured. And here just recently, the town gave us a special use permit, which is awesome. Thank you, town. Thank you, everybody, for that. And here we are. And there's things literally happening today. Catherine, do you have anything that you would like to, quite honestly today?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, just to share an update that this morning, the State Board of Finance did approve the long-term lease that is on your agenda this morning.
And that's all I've really got on it. I can't top that part. And yeah, and I'd like to say this morning that to Erica, that was amazing. That's Taos right there. So yeah, thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Matt and Catherine, for the update and the overview and the breaking news from the state. That's pretty awesome. Commissioners, any comments or questions for Matt or Catherine?
I just have a
Commissioner Beal, please.
Yes, I remember the day when we were all, I think it was on Zoom, right? Talking about the needs and also talking about where could this be set up. And you know, it took a collaboration, certainly cooperation from town and Taos, and a passion and desire for people to come together and come up with a solution. I'm so proud of Taos and the humanitarian side that we really demonstrate each and every day. And so hats off to Catherine and all those that are participating and actually getting the work done, because often we commissioners, we think of all these ideas, want to be part of it, but we're certainly not experts in this area. But we, I think, often know to just get out of the way and let people do what they do best. And so, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Vihil. Any other questions or comments? I'll echo your thanks, especially to the partners who are going to be providing services there, because that's such a critical piece, right, to help people move hopefully out of or beyond the situation that brought them to emergency shelter in the first place. So thank you guys for all that you're doing to put this together. I'll also echo, Darlene, you said it beautifully, our thanks to the town of Taos, because they granted that permit that was the week before last. I'm not sure those of us who were there will ever be part of a more beautiful meeting. Go look at their planning commission meeting online. If you haven't seen it, it might make you cry. I think that's the theme of our morning this morning, is just what we feel when we take care of each other. So thank you so much for being part of that.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
And congratulations on approval of the long-term lease. That's not a small thing. Item 9B is a presentation regarding the Paseo project. And Mr. Matt Thomas, your name is on our agenda as Executive Director, but it's great to see you bring your partners here.
Thank you so much. Is it possible to have our slides up, please? Thank you. Thanks. Hello, I am Matt Thomas. I'm the Executive Director of the Paseo Project. Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners, for having us here today. I would like to introduce our presenters. We have Contessa Trujillo, Janet Grainer, and Jessica Stern, who is our independent consultant that helped us with this presentation. Our last team member, Amber Vasquez, couldn't make it today, so I'll try to fill in for her as well. I do want to, before I get started and sharing our little update on what we've been working on, I wanted to acknowledge some of the other arts organizations and nonprofits who've joined us today. First, I want to thank Elizabeth for being here. She's our board chair for the Paseo Project. Charles with Main Street Taos, I want to thank, and Chelsea back there with the Taos Center for the Arts, I want to thank. And of course, Lisa too. We've worked with Lisa for many years with the Taos Community Foundation in the past, and just want to say thanks. Next slide, please. Thanks. First of all, we want to thank you for your continued support through the years, from sponsorship to assisting us with the 100% community mural last year, which was a lot of fun. Your last year's sponsorship for Paseo Festival. With your support, we successfully reached our 10th year, and we're really excited to share that with you today. Your support last year helped us keep going. We brought art to the streets, and we look forward to working with you again this year. Today, we'd like to share with you the work that we do, the projects we have planned for the summer and fall, and the overall impacts art and the Paseo Project make in our community. It's so important for local nonprofits to partner with our local government, and we want to continue helping you reach your goals. So highlights of today's presentation we would like to share with you is the importance of the creative economy and the Paseo Project's role in that, the economic impact of the Paseo Project in our community, our contribution to education, job readiness, and career pathways for our youth, Paseo's role in talent attraction and retention for the community, as well as our contributions to health, vitality, equity, access, and social cohesion. And finally, the importance of the town and the county's investment in Paseo Project to achieve its own goals. Next slide, please. So a lot of these photos from the slides are from past events from Paseo, so that would be fun to bring in a little color and art into our presentation. So the Paseo Project lives at the center of three primary values: art, education, and community. Our mission is to transform art through community and community through art. From our flagship Paseo Festival each fall to our Artist in Residence program, arts education programming, community partnerships, and creative placemaking efforts, we aim to present high quality, inclusive projects and programming. We present work that is experimental, ephemeral, participatory, context responsive, and totally free for our community. Some of these programs include what people know us best by is the Paseo Festival. It's our annual outdoor art festival, and since 2014, we brought projection, performance, and installation art to the streets of Taos every fall, featuring regional, national, and international artists. The Paseo is an annual free outdoor event and takes over the streets of the historic district. We invite you all out this September 15th and 16th. We have over 30 artists and installations ready to share with our community and will be placed in Kit Carson Park this year. And the summers, we host up to 3 artists in residence. And this program offers an opportunity for artists from all over the world to come to Taos and work with our community on a public art project. The program is an opportunity for working artists to activate their projects within the community of Taos while exposing our community to new technologies, processes, and ideas. And artists typically spend almost up to 4 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks here in Taos with our community. We kind of call it like the deep dive for the Paseo. We started this spring with Jamila McEwen and their project exploring sun, wind, and our relationship to the environment, all through the play of kites. You might have seen some photos or kites in the sky. Last month, we hosted Ruben Olguin, who explored the hidden stories of water in our community, wrapping up with a pop-up projection event on Bend Street. And coming in July, for 4 weeks, we have Dason Coyote Culver, who will be exploring last year's massive forest fires as a way of communicating forest management strategies and the impacts on our environment. So we hope to announce some upcoming pop-ups for that this summer. With all our projects, the slide before. Thanks. With all our projects, we offer education programming. The Paseo Project works with community partners to provide year-round programming, exposing our youth to STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. And we do this in the classroom, enhanced through creative processes of local and visiting artists, and we'll share a little bit more about that here shortly. We also work a lot with public art initiatives. We bring art to the street, from public sculpture and crosswalk mural to wall mural projects, as the county has helped us with. And we help host local artists and creatives for seasonal installations in our public spaces. These public art projects bring liveliness and color to our streets while showing investment and pride in our local art scene. And finally, we wanted to just share a little bit more about our office space called The Hub. It's the home of our Paseo project, and this shared office space offers discounted desk rentals and conference room space. And since 2020, we actually opened a month before the pandemic. It's become a dynamic networking center for local nonprofits, writers, entrepreneurs, and creatives of all types. So all of this work is completed through a dedicated staff of 5, dozens of contractors, and hundreds of volunteers. We pay living wages, and all our artists are paid for their time. We know that art is work. Jessica is going to share more about our impacts as a part of the creative economy of Taos.
Good morning. My name is Jessica, and I'm pleased to present a very brief overview of the creative economy for you here today. Since some of you don't know me quite yet, previously I spent the last 5 years working at the intersection of arts, business, economic development, and the creative economy at Americans for the Arts, which is the National Arts Industry Association. Recently, I worked with the Paseo Project as an independent consultant, and I want to be clear that and disclose that my presentation here today and presence here today is separate and unrelated to my new role as Economic Development Director at Taos County, and is the result of prior work with the Paseo Project. So next slide, please. Thanks. I'm going to start with a very big picture in the hopes to contextualize the Paseo Project within the local, state, and national creative economy. Arts and culture is a powerful sector and is not only big business, it's a dynamic and often under-tapped economic driver that can and should be a viable solution to economic and community development. Arts and culture is an industry, just like any other industry, such as healthcare and manufacturing. Arts jobs are jobs that have associated standard occupation codes, and national and state economic activity is tracked via the North American Industry Classification System, or NAICS codes, through the Bureau of Economic Analysis Arts and Culture Satellite Production Account, which tracks 35 industries that comprise the creative economy, as well as employment and supply chain. The fullness of the nonprofit and for-profit arts industries constitutes the creative economy. According to the Arts and Culture Satellite Production Account, in 2021, arts and culture added $1.02 trillion, or 4.4% to the US GDP. While the overall US economy showed 5.9% increase in GDP from 2020 to 2021, arts and culture grew by over 13%. Arts and culture actually ranks third in value add to the US economy, behind healthcare and social assistance and retail trade. In the state of New Mexico, arts and culture is the fourth largest value add, behind mining, retail, and construction, respectively. Arts and culture is the fifth largest employer in the state, behind retail, construction, transportation, and mining, respectively. The creative economy accounts for $3.2 billion, or 2.9% of the New Mexico economy, contributing 23,766 jobs. As you can see on this slide, very tiny writing, that between 2020 and 2021, while New Mexico's GSP rose 7%, arts and culture showed a 20% increase in value add in the state. Similarly, with state employment, overall employment rose by 2%, though the arts and culture sector grew by 8%. These figures show the strength and viability of the creative economy as an important sector for investment and nurturing, and the Paseo project is a key partner locally in that growth. Next slide, please. Thank you. So the national and statewide numbers are important, but let's take a look at the creative economy here in Taos County. These numbers were provided by former colleagues of mine at Americans for the Arts who are working on creating a data set for all 3,143 counties across the country. So this data isn't quite public yet, but we get to have it here. Using 53 NAICS codes, this data shows the number of arts business establishments in Taos County, including nonprofits, at 74, the number of employees in those establishments at 235, and the number of individuals who report that their primary occupation is artistic at 538. Overall, arts and culture adds $86.2 million to Taos County, and incredibly is ranked at number 61 out of every single county in the country for the number of arts businesses per 10,000 people. I think that data point is pretty phenomenal. I also want to highlight that it is very likely that these numbers are low, as they do not include industries such as retail, because retail also includes things like hardware, home and auto supply, and any other kind of retail. Electronic shopping, such as mail order or online businesses that may be based in Taos County, are not counted, as well as other artistic businesses such as tattoo parlors, of which there are 4 in the county, because they're lumped in with other personal care services. So for example, working off a list of arts-based businesses just in the Taos Main Street district that Charles was kind enough to provide to me, including retail, I count 93 arts-based businesses in the Main Street district alone. So while capturing the exact data is difficult, I think we can say that even if the estimates are low, the creative economy is a significant and vital part of the town of Taos and Taos County. We'll get into Paseo's direct contribution to these numbers shortly. Having shared the national, state, and local context of the creative economy, I also want to highlight a couple of plan goals from the town and county comprehensive plans that relate to the work of the Paseo project. Next slide, please. Thank you. Again, the data is revealing about the strength of arts and culture in the town and county, but we also know that the town and county have specifically identified arts and culture as a means to community and economic development. On the town side, in the new comprehensive plan adopted on June 4th, 2022, the plan's primary themes are to keep it local, improve life for Taoseños, support local businesses for local people. And the town council's goals itself are to focus on beautification, economic development, economic diversification, public-private partnerships, youth and family services. The Paseo project, through its programming and economic impact, directly support the goals and strategies outlined in both the town and county's comprehensive plans. For example, on page 34 of the town comprehensive plan, it states that one of the key municipal functions is a 3-pronged approach to economic and community development that includes, quote, proactive local business support through grant writing and partnerships, marketing and outreach, and event development and production. Also in the town comprehensive plan's economic development actions 5 and 21, it states that the town hopes to work with local businesses through public-private partnerships to cultivate economic opportunities, support job creation, and provide living wages, and to continue producing entertainment events as an economic development and community service. The Paseo project serves as an activation towards these functions, as well as the county's 5th economic development goal within developing cultural and the creative economy to, quote, develop and promote programming that better meets the needs and interests of modern tourists. Focus on developing opportunities for hands-on experiences, opportunities to engage the local community, and local cultural activities, end quote. So having provided the most brief overview of the creative economy and dipping our toes into the county and town's own priorities, I'm going to pass it back over to Matt, who is going to talk about the direct economic impact of the Paseo project. Thank you so much.
Next slide, please. Thanks, Jessica. So what exactly is the economic impact of Paseo, the festival itself? So on this slide, you'll see a little slice of that support. In 2018, we hired a third-party consultant to conduct an economic impact report for Paseo. We've hired them again for 2023, but we want to see what our past impacts and numbers are. Here you can see for 2018, our total economic impact was over $500,000 spent in our community, more than 34,000 in total GRT earned for town and county and state. And we had a total of 55 jobs, part and full time. And we're excited to get more detailed information from the town, their recent subscription to Datify, which tracks cell phone data. That's a whole other presentation. With some new numbers, we had over 16,000 attendees in 2018 and 2019. It also shows a nearly 50-50 split of local and visiting people. That's greater than 50 miles would be for the visiting. This also relates, as Jessica mentioned, to the town comprehensive plan, which states, quote, to work with local businesses through public-private partnerships to cultivate economic opportunities, support job creation, and provide living wages, and to continue producing entertainment events as an economic development and community service. When we see that there's a split of 50-50 of attendees who are local to Taos, this is powerful data that shows how important Paseo is to both the local character of the community and the attraction of tourists. And it squarely meets with the town's goal to produce events as an economic and community development service while keeping it local as outlined in the plan. This is no different than for the county. Next slide, please. We know that numbers are important, but the impact and experience of our local business partners is equally important. Here is our massive list of past and present local business support. Since 2014, we've worked with dozens of local businesses in multiple capacities. They've provided their money, their time, or even their space to something they deeply believe in. I want to share a quote from a longtime friend of Paseo, a local downtown business, Chocola Bean to Bar, and their perspectives about having Paseo, what Paseo means for their business. Debbie Vincent from Chocola Bean to Bar shared this with us, and I quote, Paseo is an inclusive event. It has really brought art to the streets, and in doing so, it has significantly contributed to the long tradition of Taos arts. By engaging children and people of all ages, it not only promotes and supports education in a free and festive event, it serves as a genuinely local celebration of arts and culture for everyone. So Paseo contributes enormously to the growth of a real sense of community. She goes on to say that during Paseo, Chocola revenue has gone up 100% and has become a weekend to look forward to in September. Every year we sell out of chocolate in all of our products, end of quote. And we know that Paseo serves more than just an economic activity. It also makes other impacts in our community, from education, job readiness, to talent retention, and impacts in our health, vitality, and cohesion. Next slide, please. Unfortunately, Amber Vasquez, who is our education manager, couldn't make it today, so I'm going to fill in for her right now. The Paseo project provides educational programming all year round through our community education partners. These programs bring to the classroom STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. These programs connect classrooms to world-class art professionals, 21st century skills, and many different creative art practices. Whether it be in-school demos or virtual online events, the Paseo Project's education programs expose our community to exciting new ways of engaging with the world. For past 3 years, we've had the internship program. This offers both an intern and apprenticeship opportunities for Northern New Mexicans aged 16 to 25. This year, we have an amazing cohort of 6 young people. These programs help build pathways to careers by offering young adults a fully paid position where they can learn and refine their production and technical arts training. The program is designed to incorporate Paseo Festival support work, as well as educate interns in technical skills that are necessary to succeed in a nonprofit arts organization. Our internship program also strives to develop trade skills in an underserved population in our Taos community. Next slide, please. We have asked past interns, did your Paseo Project internship impact your interest in working in the arts, either with school, professionally, or recreationally? They replied, and here's one quote, "Presenting at Paseo has been a very monumental step in my journey as a young aspirational individual. Since then, partially through the connections with the festival, I have been able to go further with the project than I had ever anticipated, even presenting at the Roundhouse for State STEM Day and at the New Mexico Natural History Museum." The quote continues, "Aside from tangible positive, presenting at the festival had a massive impact on my outlook, hopes for the future, and mood. Having the opportunity to connect with so many local people has helped me realize my balance between my love for science, art, and theater. And this comes in the form of community involvement. Paseo has opened a whole world for me, and I'm grateful for the experience." And that was an anonymous contribution. On this slide, you can see several other quotes from past interns, some who have gone on to work or go to school in the arts. Next slide, please. The Paseo Project has a STEAM week, which is associated with the festival. For the entire week leading up to the Paseo, we bring participating festival artists into the classroom. And then we bring classrooms out to the installation sites for a deep dive into the art making process through STEAM. Students are able to get a behind the scene look as well as create their own art in the style of the artist. We've built mandalas, engineered inflatable art, explored mycelium, and even painted with robots. The Paseo Project also brings workshops from its artists in residence out into the community to share their work, vision, and processes, and this happens throughout the summer. These workshops can be geared towards adults, children, or families and run the gamut on what they offer. Artists in residence have engineered kites, created projection mapped art, taught circuitry, and our last artist in residence, Acequia artist Ruben Olguin, had families at Twirl making paintings using different types of mud that he'd collect from all over the state. As you'll see on this slide, we have listed education partners from the past few years. And it's just been a pleasure to work with all these amazing educators and young people. Art education is important for all careers, and it is a part of the design of our education programs to lay pathways to careers in the arts. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Contessa.
Morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So Taos has always been a rich cultural space, bustling with energy and creativity. It is my ancestral land, and having been born and raised in Taos, the arts have been an intrinsic part of my identity, and it's helped me navigate the world. My parents are incredibly creative people, and in my home, there was no lack of materials that could be readily transformed into art supplies of some sort, nor was there a shortage in my parents' ability to create something from nothing. That sentiment has been a great source of pride, resilience, and ingenuity, making something from nothing. This is a survival skill, and I was raised to be a creative problem solver. My family has historically worked blue-collar jobs because that was what felt safe and secure. When it came to the arts, they didn't see opportunity in terms of financial security, especially not with respect to providing for their family. Artistic practice, however, was ever present and deeply supported in my household, and I proceeded to choose a path that now fails to push that boundary and straddle a line between financial security and stability whilst maintaining a tangible connection to the arts in a way that is beneficial to my community. For over 20 years, I've worked in the arts in one form or another, for galleries or organizations here in Taos, in Colorado, San Francisco, California, and Portland, Oregon. These opportunities are hard to come by, even in big cities, and especially upon my return home. Being able to secure meaningful work in the arts with the Paseo Project has been such a blessing, especially in my hometown. Paseo is beloved and one of, if not the only arts organization of this caliber in the entire state of New Mexico. At that, Paseo Project does an incredible amount of work considering our small and mighty team of 5. Furthermore, I believe the Paseo Project to be the arts organization that is bringing Taos arts reputation into the 21st century with technology and innovation. The Paseo Festival itself ignites joy and speaks to everyone. It is a unifying factor in a place that has a challenged past and a history of difficulty in bringing people together in a community, bringing together a community that is truly representative of the diversity that is Taos. It not only supports access to the arts as a free event for our entire community, it also supports local artists and folks who have been historically excluded in the arena of the arts. Giving voice to local artists is hugely impactful in terms of culture and representation and efforts to have a truly diverse, equitable, and inclusive events and programming. It has been such a gift to return home and have the great fortune to work with the Paseo Project, who is doing this work and contributing in so many ways to benefit the Taos community at large. I'm grateful to help with these efforts and be able to bring my experiences and skill set home in order to further this work and create opportunities and pathways for Taos's youth who are considering futures and careers in the arts. As you know, our community is comprised of a unique and diverse population, and for next slide. And for hundreds of years, our community has sustained itself through the shared experience of art and continue to this day to come together with ritual, dance, and performance. And as the world struggles to find a grounding in peace and justice, we believe that creating more shared experiences the entire community can gather around, will open up new opportunities for understanding and connection. Taos has a reputation of being a warm and welcoming place. People come to experience all Taos has to offer, from land to culture, and the arts are inextricably linked with what makes Taos so special and why people love it so much. The Paseo Project is intentionally designed to bring people together. In 2018, the Paseo brought over 16,000 people to the town of Taos, 8,000 of those roughly living 50 or more miles outside of Taos County, while inviting locals to partake in a completely unique experience that exists nowhere else in the state of New Mexico. Attracting and retaining talent is about creating a sense of belonging and welcoming. Gina's quote above shows that people who live here and are seeking talent know that Paseo is a draw, and it's part of what makes Taos unique and is a strong enough pull to bring new community members here or entice those raised here to return. More specifically, cultivating a place where local youth can viably stay and make a life here, or like me, return after some time away. We all know that maintaining a sense of place, preserving heritage, and keeping talent here is important for the sustainability and viability of our culture and our local economy. From studies conducted by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the National Endowment for the Arts, in rural counties, the presence of 4 or more performing arts organizations is positively associated with the co-location of businesses that are substantive innovators and are design integrated businesses. We can see because of the plethora of arts organizations and entities, including the Paseo Project, that research comes to life. And because of their existence, in turn, makes Taos a desirable place to live and to work. With that, I'll leave you now with Jana, who will talk more about the health and vitality of Taos in relation to the arts.
Thanks, Contessa. Good morning. So once again, the Paseo Project is helping Taos County and the town of Taos meet their comprehensive plan, which includes the Strong at Heart strategy. Do you mind advancing the slide, please? Devised in 2017 and 2018, that's refer to page 74 in the comprehensive plan. Paseo meets several of these goals and recommendations, including places for people, a real place where locals want to be, a strong economy, and thriving local businesses. Our event brings thousands together around art and creative, imaginative experiences. No other event in the region has that pull. This event provides opportunities to create new memories and new possibilities of a community that can come together through acts of kindness and mutual appreciation. In our post-COVID world, the opportunities for seeing and knowing our neighbors is diminishing, as forms of entertainment have moved to the digital realm, where storytelling is not an act of the collective, but one of a solitary confinement within the home. The Paseo Project believes in the power of art and engagement to bring people together, even if for small moments of time, to share an experience together. I believe we need more opportunities to come together, aside from financial transactions, to occupy space together. We need to see each other. We need to see a smile. We need to hear a laugh and share positive moments. It is through these joyous experiences that we begin to see commonalities and gain empathy toward one another. The Paseo Project has a different approach thanks to its presentation of art forms that are not often found in galleries. Art that does not hang on a wall, art that is participatory and transforms public spaces, and that invites community members from all backgrounds, perhaps particularly those who would not consider themselves arts people, to come out and be immersed. Highlighting cutting-edge artwork and technologies that can be found in major cities around the world, the Paseo brings the creativity of the world to the small community of Taos. The Paseo inspires a new generation of creative thinkers while exposing the larger community to new ideas, new technologies, and new perspectives. In addition, the contributions of artistic practice and presentation are important for mental health. Supporting artists to share their work with the community builds artist confidence and self-esteem. Viewing and making art can be calming to the nervous system. This helps depression, anxiety, and stress. Both activities help folks feel more engaged and resilient. Art allows expression through creativity without having to rely on words. That being said, I'm going to hand it over to Matt to wrap it up. Thank you all for your time.
Thanks, Jana. Next slide, please. This pie graph that you see here shares where our funding goes, and this was for 2022. The Paseo Project has been a long and powerful generator. The Paseo Project has long been a powerful and generative partner, both to the town of Taos and the county. And throughout this presentation, we've shared how we significantly contribute to the local and state creative economy, as well as the overall economy. We've shared how we positively impact businesses and business owners. We've shared what the Paseo Project not only means to youth and future workers, but to our role in career pathways in the creative sector. We've highlighted how Paseo directly attracts individuals to move here, and also what it keeps locals here and contributes to our unique culture and lifeways of northern New Mexico. We've shared how our programming and partnerships create equitable access to creative experiences, provide completely unique opportunities for social and community cohesiveness, and contribute to the overall health and vitality of this place. Next slide. And this pie graph shares where we get our funding from to make this all happen. We'd love to see our local government support the arts with a larger slice of this pie. It builds resilience in our organization and shows how much we as a community believe in a thriving arts and culture. What we want to part with is how deeply committed the Paseo Project is in being a strong partner with our public institutions in helping you achieve your goals, and therefore our mutual community goals. In addition to the direct relations to creative economy goals that the town and county have, Paseo is integrated so much more broadly. We help meet the town's comprehensive plan land use goal number 2, quoted, "The downtown has a strong economy with thriving local businesses, provides places for Taoseños to socialize, host events for the community to come together, provides a variety of housing choices, and is walkable and bikeable." The Paseo Project helps meet that goal. The Paseo also contributes to the Green Network by collaborating on the cultural projects such as Oseki Aki, and by supporting artists in residence such as Joanna King Lopez with their Adobe Brick project in 2022, and artists like Juanita Lavidi and her Acequia Crossings project. The Paseo helps meet those goals. Paseo is involved with broader economic development goals. One such case includes the new Hotel Willa, including a partnership with Paseo to activate their gallery and artist in residence space. From the town comprehensive plan on page 183, I quote, "Through local efforts and regional partnerships, the economy of Taos continues to build and diversify economic-based jobs, develop emerging industries, strengthen and grow cultural industries, including tourism and art, and to support its local workforce and residents by prioritizing the sustainability of the community, culture, and natural resources." The Paseo project helps meet that goal. Government cannot do everything for everyone. This is why partnerships with community organizations are crucial to building strong, healthy communities. We hope that this presentation has highlighted both the richness of what the Paseo project brings to the town and county of Taos, and also how we recognize the important role we play alongside the town and county in helping you achieve your goals. In order to do this, we need your investment. We are a business, we are an employer, we are an educator, we're a facilitator, we're an incubator, a presenter, a community network. We cannot help you achieve your goals without your reoccurring financial investment. And last slide, please. This is a list of our supporters so far in 2023. We'll end here with these sponsors, and we'd love to include the Taos County on this list. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Matt. And thank you also, Jana. Thank you, Jessica, as independent consultant. Thank you, Contessa. Great to see you. And Elizabeth and Charles as well. Commissioners, do you have any questions or comments for our Paseo project team this morning? Commissioner Behill.
Sure, I would just like to say thank you for the presentation. I certainly have had an opportunity to go out there on during the time in which you have all that beautiful art out there, and I've taken my grandchildren. It's really been exciting. Some of the photos that I did see here, I remember actually laying down and being underneath the, I don't know what you call it, but it was at Toral. It was really fun. We have photos with my grandchildren, and so certainly would hope that Taos County could be a partner as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Behill. You said a key word, fun. It's a great and engaging art that makes you think, but it's always such fun. You see families, you see your neighbors, you see your friends, you see people you might not have seen for a while. So can't wait for September. Any other comments, questions? All right. Thank you so much, team. Thanks for being here, and thanks for a great, thorough presentation. Thank you. Okay, this takes us to our agenda item 10, contracts, agreements, MOUs, and bids. Item 10A is discussion, consideration, and decision regarding the lease agreement by and between Taos County and Dream Tree Project. Brent or Patrick? Okay, or both of you?
And then I think Catherine will come up in a moment to I'll let Patrick talk about this. One of the things I told Patrick and Catherine that we needed to emphasize to the commission, it was not an easy lift to get this lease done. They were still making changes. Yesterday, Patrick was still working on it. Friday, the Board of Finance gave us their last of the changes that they would like to see. So this has been a huge lift, and it wasn't easy. There was a lot that Catherine had to do too, and to make right and to justify the in-kind work. We had to prove that up front on the methodology of what we were going to use. So this is a great precursor to all the other documents and leases that are going to be going to Board of Finance in the next few months as well. With that, I'll let Patrick talk about this lease.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, the lease before you, I think you got one with, looks like this has some red writing on it. It should look familiar. You approved a lease like this very recently. One of the requirements for the Board of Finance is to submit a lease to them that has been approved by the board, which we did. And then afterwards, they had after they reviewed it along with our complete application, they had suggested or demanded or insisted on some changes to be made. And those took the form of two different iterations of this document. I won't bore you with that. But if you'll note, the red in the document before you are changes that the Board of Finance staff required. We didn't really have a problem with them. They are, and neither did Dream Tree. I'll point out a couple, though, of some significance. Actually, I'm sure they're all significant, but of that you would want to take note of. One is on page, it's actually paragraph, I don't have page numbers on here, it's on paragraph 16. It says the agreement is subject to approval. This lease shall be subject to and shall not be effective prior to being approved by the Board of Finance. So because this lease has a value of more than $5,000 and is worth, and extends more than 5 years, the statute says that the Board of Finance has to approve it. They wanted the language specifically put in there. And then I wanted to point out paragraph 30, which is right above the signature lines. It also says that the county manager is authorized to make any necessary changes to the agreement for the sole purpose of obtaining approval from the Board of Finance, and if so required, execute the lease with any required amendments on behalf of the county commission. So one of the requirements was that if there's another issue that may come up that Board of Finance hasn't identified yet, that the county manager be authorized to amend the contract to address those concerns. With those changes and the others that are in red, it's basically the same agreement that we had before. It's a long-term lease. It's going to take the place of the short-term lease, which expires on June 29th, so pretty quick here. And it allows Dream Tree to do all the wonderful things that they've just explained to you in one of the presentations earlier this morning. It is an example of intergovernmental cooperation with us being the owners of the building being in the town having to approve certain land use requests, us getting this lease done. So it's something I think that the community should be proud of in terms of cooperation among government and private industry. And I'll stand for questions.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Appreciate the update and the overview. Commissioners, questions for Mr. Trio? I just have one question. You pointed out paragraph 30, where should the Board of Finance ask for additions, edits, changes, that we authorize Brent, our county manager, to do that. Totally trust that process. You all have done an amazing job through this big lift so far. I'm just curious, is that fairly standard, like language in our agreements?
Yes, it can be. Typically, in a lot of communities I've worked with, the commission will actually pass a resolution that covers all agreements that allows the manager to do that. This is a specific requirement of the Board of Finance in this instance, though.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And again, totally fine with it. You all have done, I know that there were a lot of, I don't necessarily want to call them hoops to jump through, but there was a lot to get done in order for this to pass through the state. So appreciate that a lot and appreciate whatever is going to come next to get us over the finish line. Yeah, Commissioner Vehil.
What comes to mind is the roadway, and that it was an issue because it still belonged to town of Taos. I was just curious how we resolved that, or how Board of Finance was able to allow us to move forward.
Well, there was discussion between myself and the town attorney with regard to that roadway. The town basically expressed to us that they didn't think they still owned the roadway that is the subject of the appraiser's concern. And then they said, but even if we do own it, we don't have a problem with using it as parking. So that statement by the town attorney was enough. It was in the form of an email that I forwarded to. I've gotten to know the Board of Finance staff really well in the last year. So there was a lot of communication between us, and that was sufficient for them to approve it.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Good question.
I think, Catherine, did you want to say anything? She doesn't want to say anything. I've actually had the pleasure of knowing Catherine for a very long time, for about 15 years. And I will say this is the first time Catherine hasn't said anything in my presence. So this is really a monumental thing. I'm just teasing.
It really is monumental, and I want to thank our team. I know that this was a team effort on the county side, and Catherine, you and your team. This is big, and our attorney said it well. Like, this is something that our community should be proud of. The degree of cooperation that has gone into this, and again, we will take this opportunity to once again thank the town, particularly their planning commission, who heard comments, as we referred to earlier today, from local faith-based organizations, social services organizations, all kinds of folks, just regular neighbors and folks spoke up at that meeting. And it was a testament to the beauty of this project, so.
Chair, if I may add.
Absolutely.
And earlier I made the comment that commissioners often, we have these, what we think brilliant ideas and often create a lot of work for our county, but they always take that challenge and run with it. So we're very grateful for all the efforts put into this.
Well said. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. And now we need a motion on whether or not to approve the lease agreement by and between Taos County and Dream Tree Project Incorporated as presented.
Motion to approve?
I will second. Madam
Second.
Clerk? We've got a motion in 2 seconds. Madam Clerk, please call for the vote.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas?
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero?
Yes.
Chair Brack?
Yes. Thank you, and congratulations again. Okay, this takes us to item 10B, discussion, consideration, and decision regarding the acceptance of proposal of Phase 2 for the Veterans Cemetery and authorizing the county manager to sign the final contract. And with us this morning, we have Mr. Richard Sanchez, our construction projects manager. Good morning, Richard.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, good to see you. This is a request because we've gotten legislative appropriations for Phase 2, the administration building, and a few other little periphery parts of it, to give our manager permission to execute a contract when it's prepared for the $3.1 million of the new administration building for the Veterans Cemetery. The only reason that I'm requesting this is that sometimes we're hoping to break ground and have concrete in place before winter shows up, and local government is assisting us in doing our paperwork and everything. And so I would hate to have our contract ready and then for whatever reason a commission meeting gets swapped and we're 2-3 weeks waiting to sign a contract for this, because this is time sensitive in the sense of construction costs and budget. If we don't get concrete down before winter time, we may not have enough money to actually complete the project next spring, the way construction costs have been going over the last couple of years. So this is asking to accept the proposal. And lock in our pricing so that the price doesn't change between now and the executed contract and the building permit. It'll also allow us to apply for a building permit, which can take anywhere from a month to several months, the way things have been going at the state. It's a complete building, so it's a significant review process, electrical, mechanical, structural, life safety, ADA compliance, all that has to be approved by the state. Any questions?
I do have a question. So when you make reference to needs to be approved by local government, you are referring to DFA, Department of Finance?
Yes, it's already there.
Yes.
And so they're working on it to get the paperwork to us as soon as the fiscal year starts.
Right. And the reason why I ask, and I understand that, but just so that those that are viewing can understand that it's not really in our hands right now, it is in their hands, is that correct?
Correct. We do not have a grant agreement for the $3.2 million. We're trying to be a step ahead and have all our contracts ready. So at the moment we have the grant agreement and both sides sign, because we can't do any work until the DFA side signs.
Got it.
So we're trying to be that far ahead.
Okay.
And that way, once that grant agreement comes in place, we can start construction.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Vice Chair Romero.
Richard, we had a question earlier in the public comments, an individual, he's still here, wanting information on the timeline of what's going on now and with the facility and then actually opening and burials.
I can't speak to the burials. That's a policy decision, the commission and administration. But we are closing out phase 2. Landscaping is probably 90% done. The committal shelter is done with the exception of the stucco color on the wall. Sidewalks are complete. Columbarium walls are up and complete and faced with marble. Landscaping is probably 90% complete. We have some adjustments to do on some sidewalks, so there's going to be a little bit of sod that'll have to be lowered. But the crypt field is 100%. It's sodded. If the administration and Department of Veterans Affairs wanted to proceed to actually use the cemetery, it meets all standards. We have electricity. Today, our sprinkler and landscaping contractor are supposed to be there programming and testing the irrigation system. The well controls seem to be working fine. We've been irrigating manually because we didn't want to stop the sod schedule. And the roadway is complete to the west. The burial area is 100% complete with sod and everything. Survey markers will probably go in next week. The survey markers are so that you know where to dig for each individual crypt site. Technically, it's as complete as Angel Fire, actually more so because we have a committal shelter. But this is strictly a commission and Department of Veterans Affairs decision. The thought was that since we got the legislative appropriation to complete the administration building, it might be better to wait till it's 100% complete. But like I said, that's a policy decision.
Thank you for the question, Vice Chair, and thank you, Richard, for that update. And as a reminder, Richard has been giving good updates I think it's the first commission meeting of the month. So I would encourage all of the interested folks to come or watch our commission meetings the first Tuesday of every month. And then we can get like the latest update. And I know that you've also made the offer for people to call you and go over whatever questions or information they'd like to have. I have a question. The building that we saw where the roof is kind of there, is that the committal there? Is that the committal shelter?
That's the committal shelter.
Okay.
They're open air structures that just basically a roof and some wind blocking, and there are lights in there. And that's where, if a person has a service, that's where they do the service before interment.
Okay. And where will the administration building?
The administration building, let's see. Let me see what's there.
The drone footage is really helpful.
Right there to your
Thank you.
left, you see that little jog in the sidewalk. It will be directly to the east of that. That jog in the sidewalk is considered the cordage, where a procession would wait for their scheduled time. At Santa Fe, they do one service, no more. They give you 45 minutes per service, and so they don't do more than 8 services a day.
Okay.
And so, yeah, you can see right there. So you see the jog in to the left. That's the burial area. Just to the south of it is the administration area. It's all fenced off right now in preparation for construction work.
So I have a question in regards to this question. I believe is for Mr. Jaramillo. We have been in contact with New Mexico veterans, with the department, and and how they can help us, because obviously we don't have the expertise in order to bury or the protocol.
Right. No, like we had that meeting with the commission attended at the Veteran Services Department. They will give us their expertise on how we need to do the burials. Like I mentioned at one of the budget hearings, the 600,000, they feel that's a good appropriate amount to start for an operating budget and personnel. So that's no small feat of the counties to put 600,000 up to begin a cemetery.
Thank
To
you.
operate.
Thank you for that reminder, Brent, because I know it's okay. I know it's been such a focus to get, oh, this is newer. Great. The drone footage has been great. Thank you. But I know to your point about the $600,000 that the county has set aside for operations, I think it's all very easy for us to focus on what we can see or what we haven't seen yet.
Yes.
But we've had a lot of conversations about how we're going to actually operate this, like who's going to staff it, how are we going to find those people, how are we going to pay those people, and that is something that the county is committed to, through our budget process and through our ongoing conversations with the Department of Veteran Services. We're committing to solve that as this work wraps up. So that looks much different than a month ago. Thank you for the new drone footage.
There's one with grass on it too.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Commissioners,
all that, you can see the shrub is, and not even there, all the shrubs aren't, all the trees aren't in there, but you can see that area where the trees are, that's already all sodded all the way up to the communal shelter. Like I said, the complete burial area from where you see that little tractor all the way around to the white trucks is already sodded. All the shrubbery, rose bushes are in the flag plaza. We're waiting for some lighting fixtures that came in. We had some damage to our main flagpole. That's already been replaced. That area, those 3 trees and the 2 that go back around the columbarium walls and the communal, that'll all be landscaped and grass all the way around coming down this side.
thank you. Thank you for the update. Commissioners, any further questions for Richard? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. That means that we now need to take action. This is decision regarding the acceptance of proposal of Phase 2 for the Veterans Cemetery and authorizing the county manager to sign the final contract. Commission, what are your wishes?
Madam Chair, motion to approve.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mascareñas. Madam Clerk, please call for the vote.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Yes. So this motion passes. Thank you very
all,
much.
and feel free anytime you want to drive out. Like I said, we do have gates and everything in place, but it's, like I said, next video is going to really show how nice it really is.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it. Yeah. Commissioners, could I entertain a motion for a 5-minute recess before we dive into the rest of our agenda?
Motion to take a 5-minute recess.
I will second. Madam Clerk, please call. Thank you, Commissioner Romero. Madam Clerk, please call for the vote for a 5-minute recess.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Yes, thank you. All right, thank you, everybody, for indulging our short recess. Madam, can I entertain a motion to come back into regular session?
Motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please call the roll to come back from recess.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Yes, thank you. So we are back in our regular session at 10:42 a.m. and we are on agenda item 11, minutes. And 11A is approval of the June 6, 2023 regular meeting minutes. Commissioners, any comments, questions, requests, or a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, please call for the vote.
Commissioner Romero,
Abstain.
Commissioner Vehil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas,
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero,
Yes.
Chair Brush.
Yes, thank you. The meeting minutes are approved. This takes us to item 12 on our agenda, resolutions and ordinances. And 12A is discussion, consideration, and decision regarding the approval of resolution number 2023-21, a resolution requesting a National Lab regional tax distribution study for Los Alamos National Labs. And Commissioners, this was the presentation we had from Representative Joseph Sanchez last meeting. And as we normally do, with items like this, we don't react in the moment. We take the next meeting to make a decision. So I'm wondering if folks, I don't see Representative Sanchez with us here this morning, but I'm wondering if folks have any comments, questions after spending a little bit of time with the resolution.
I do have a question.
Yes,
I was
Commissioner Vehil.
Curious who actually put the resolution together. Was it Representative Sanchez?
I believe as Representative Sanchez, this is the memorial that, the wording is based on the memorial that he introduced at the state legislature.
Okay, thank you. Other questions?
Madam Chair, motion to approve.
I will second, but with discussion. Just, I had just a couple of questions or comments. And it's kind of like the classic case where like taking a minute to think about it, like it raised a lot of questions for me the more I spent time with this. And for one, I guess kind of I wish it were a conversation rather than a resolution, because I'd love to know what other voices might have to say, or what kind of insight to sort of like big questions overhanging this that, for example, our state tax and rev department folks might have. Because the resolution calls for a study for Lanel and Los Alamos. I'm wondering at what point is it part of this study that we would be putting our stamp of approval on to actually look at the precedent that would set, because what we would be talking about is revenue sharing between governmental entities statewide. And that's kind of a big question mark, right? At what point does Intel share their tax revenue with Bernalillo? At what point would our Taos Ski Valley, I see we have our Ski Valley Incorporated Community Relations member here, at what point do their GRTs or our tourism GRTs have to get to before we share with Colfax, for example? So I'm kind of wondering and Representative Sanchez isn't here to answer any questions, but I'm kind of wondering what sort of study, is it just about Lanel, or is it about the precedent and the process that would kind of be inherent in something like this? Because what the study looks like is actually important. I know it's just a study, but what its parameters are is actually pretty important.
Well, and with all due respect, I understand, if I may, your position here, but you're right, it is just a study, but I am under the impression all this information is public information. So I don't think that we're asking for, or the study would ask for anything that's not already public, somewhat public. GRTs, we're talking about GRTs. And you're right, we don't know what that study is going to look like. I don't know that anyone really knows. I think the request is simply to say, let's do a study, and that those perimeters would at that moment be identified as how they're going to achieve what they're set out to achieve, which is, is there opportunity for sharing of that distribution.
And you are right, Commissioner Vehil, the GRT, you know, the way that it's determined by law now is public information, but this would be a change in that would not, I don't know, would it apply just to one county? Because again, this resolution is about a study just for Los Alamos County, but I think that the implications, you know, in the legal precedent would possibly be much further reaching than that. Vice Chair Romero?
Madam Chair, yeah, I think your questions would be answered by completing the study itself, that the legislature is the one who will be addressing these issues and how it could actually be implemented. And I think it's just an exceptional situation where Los Alamos County is generating so much GRT, and the fact is that the lab does impact especially the surrounding counties, and it's just a request to see about the possibility to share that GRT with the surrounding counties, and that would be a real benefit and possibly a windfall for Taos County. So I don't think there's any real concern there that there would be any big precedent-setting issue where it would not be good for Taos County.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair. And actually, your comment makes me think of something else that came to me when we talk about the amount of GRT, their budget versus our budget, population versus our population, which the numbers are in the resolution as well. I would just caution us to think about the fact that the context is very different. I would imagine that Los Alamos would have to have a much different fire department, for example, than we might, or maybe not. I mean, we're not sitting on top of nuclear material. So it's just, I'm just thinking a little bit about the context and the potential complications of this. But that's all. I don't know if Mr. Trujillo, you wanted to add anything from the
Yeah,
legal
Madam
perspective?
Chair, I think it's important to just look at what the actual resolution is for as opposed to some of the recitals. What you're actually resolving to do is to get behind a committee that would study the equitable regional tax distributions from Los Alamos National Laboratories or similar federal research facilities in New Mexico. So that's the first thing you do. And that is, you support whether the governor's going to do that or the legislature's going to do that. You want them to look at that. And then the second direction is be it resolved that if that the Legislative Finance Committee and the Revenue Stabilization and Tax Policy Committee be requested to study the issue. So it doesn't go into, so you have to look at that. You have to look at the previous resolution first. So the issue is the equitable regional distributions from Los Alamos Laboratory. So it's limited to only that. I think you were concerned that it would be beyond that, but given the way this thing is written, I don't think it is.
Okay. Thank you.
And I think your concerns should be addressed by that.
I do appreciate it. And don't get me wrong, folks, I do definitely, I'm all for efforts to address our income gap and our access to services gap, because frankly, it's obscene in our country, our county, our world. So I'm not against trying to share the wealth and share the benefits of profit. I'm just thinking through this a little bit more and about what it might mean. But you're all right. It's a study. So, okay. And those are my comments. I know we had a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas?
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero?
Yes.
Chair Brush?
Yes. Okay, motion passes. Thank you. This takes us to item 12B, discussion, consideration, decision regarding the approval of resolution number 2023-23, a resolution updating the 2023-2024 wildfire risk reduction grant program. And we have Mr. J.R. Logan with us this morning. Good morning, J.R.
Good morning.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, good morning. This resolution is due back to the New Mexico Association of Counties in order to accept a $15,000 grant from the Association of Counties to Taos County. The $15,000 grant would fund a chainsaw program designed for amateurs and folks who go cut their own firewood, and also homeowners who are interested in creating defensible space around their homes. This is a program and a class that we've fielded a lot of requests for over the years. The only existing chainsaw program in the state is really targeted towards professional thinning contractors. It's a 3-day course that includes a CPR class, a field day, and for most homeowners and amateurs, 3 days is just too much to take off from work. So the Community Wildfire Protection Plan core team, which has existed in Taos County since the mid-2010s, has identified this as a priority. We submitted a grant application, and NMAC approved that application. So I'm asking the commission today to approve this resolution so that we can accept the funds and develop the course.
Thank you, J.R. Commissioners, any questions or comments for J.R.?
A motion to approve?
Okay, and I will second that. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Mascareñas?
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero?
Yes.
Chair Brush?
Yes, so resolution number 2023-23, updating the 2023-24 wildfire risk reduction grant program has been approved. Thank you, J.R.
Thank you, J.R.
Okay, this takes us to item 12C on our agenda. Discussion, consideration, and decision regarding the approval of resolution number 2023-24, a resolution authorizing and directing the county treasurer to disperse revenue generated from the imposition of the 0.25% tax for fire protection services and emergency medical services to the municipalities set out in this resolution in the matter set out herein. And Brent, this is you this morning. Looks like it.
Looks like it.
Sure. Patrick's the one that drafted the resolution, so.
Well done.
So I gave Patrick the numbers. So For the benefit of the commission, the newer commissioners, on the November ballot, we did pass a 0.25% gross receipts tax that was dedicated for fire and EMS service. Around before it got on the ballot, August, late July, there was a conversation with the municipalities that wanted a share of the gross receipts tax since this was a county-wide tax. There were several different meetings, and subsequently the way it's structured, it was the agreement in those meetings, 45 for the Taos County, 25 for the town of Taos, and then 10 for Village of Cuesta, 10% for the town of Red River, and 10% for the Village of Taos Ski Valley. And that was our agreement that we made with everybody. Folks might not be, some the small municipalities might be quite happy with that structure, but that's what was agreed upon in principle, and we're holding firm to that. That was our word. And then, so about a month and a half ago, we did through email, I did ask Mr. Trujillo to lay this out, maybe a JPA or an MOA. He felt that a resolution would suffice. He's also consulted with the treasurer, and that way she was on board with this since the beginning of the methodology. So we brought her early on into it. And any specific questions on the resolution, I defer to Mr. Trujillo.
I have a question in regards to, but not the resolution itself, but Mr. Jaramillo, are the other the other entities aware of the breakdown? I mean, do they know we're here today with this resolution?
They don't know we're here today. They know about the breakout.
Okay, got it. I just want to make sure
Right.
that, yeah.
They know about the breakout.
There's been some conversation around that. I know there was much conversation way back in the day, and certainly we want to make sure that we're taking care of everyone as best as possible.
Right.
And of course, at the same time, making sure that we have what we need to fulfill what we were set out to do. Very good.
Thank you, Commissioner Vihel. Miguel?
Brent, what was the breakdown you said on how are we doing that?
It was 25% to the town of Taos, 10 to the town of Red River, 10 to the Village of Cuesta, and 10 to the Village of Taos Ski Valley.
Madam Chair, Mr. Jaramillo, what is the actual real dollar amount? Just the county, I guess, would be interesting.
So we anticipate for the county portion that for the 10 months that we would receive this money, that we would generate $855,000 in gross receipts tax. So it's approximately 2.2 million is what our bond council expects that we would generate in a 1 year's time. And then I was asking him for budget purposes to break it out. So it was the 888 that I mentioned earlier.
Thank you, Vice Chair Romero, for the question, and thanks for the answer, Manager Jaramillo, because that's an important number, right? That will go toward helping us with the higher wages that we are about to start paying. So
Right.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments? I'll just comment that this is a good reminder of one of last year's, I would call, biggest achievements. Getting this negotiated and on the ballot, and then our community speaking out overwhelmingly in favor of it was a huge step forward for the county. Yes. Mr. Trujillo?
Yeah, Madam Chair, Commission. The idea of making this resolution was mine, and the reason for that is because the bond, the issue that was put before the borders was just for Taos County. It's just the county. And the breakdown here was negotiated outside of that, which is fine. I think some of these other entities wanted it to be an agreement. An agreement, though, has things flowing back and forth. In this instance, the county, it's only one way. The county's receiving the money, the county's dispersing it.
Right.
In my mind, this is just for your edification, not that I'm, I was talking about community cooperation earlier. I meant that. It's all a wonderful thing. But in my mind, you could change this if you wanted to. And that's what the resolution says. It's going to be in place based on these distributions until the commission decides it wants to change it. Because this commission, has that authority. And if you want to disperse it in this manner, it absolutely can do that. If you want to change it later, you can do that. And I wanted to give you that ability.
It would take, Chair, it would take another resolution to change that, right?
Correct.
So this is a good
Absolutely.
document in which
Yeah.
to.
In fact, that's what it says, until another action.
Sorry, yeah.
Of the commission. So it would have to do that.
Okay.
It isn't just done. Brent can't just decide he doesn't like the town of Cuesta. I had this. And decide not to give them the money. It would have to be the commission taking another vote, another resolution being passed.
So what I'm hearing is this is sufficient, this
Yes,
document.
the only thing that was needed, the purpose of this document was to give the treasurer a mechanism by which she could disperse the money. So that's how I've been working with the treasurer to see what she needed. And she said this would suffice. So that's why we're here with this.
And at the same time, Chair, this also shows these other entities what has been committed, what we are committing to in
Absolutely.
regards, okay.
Absolutely. I mean, it is absolutely doing exactly what an agreement would do. It's just, it makes it clear that this is flowing in one direction and that you have the ability to change it if you'd want. Not that you'd ever would.
Okay.
In fact, you could change the distributions in another way. In my mind, you might even be able to, there was another town that you wanted to also contribute to, you may be able to do that as well. Where if this was an agreement, you'd have to have agreement from everyone, which would be inappropriate given that the money goes to the county.
Right, understand. Thank you for the clarification, that really helps.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Trujillo. I really do also appreciate the background on your approach and why it makes a lot of sense. So commissioners, what are your wishes regarding the approval of resolution number 2023-24, a resolution authorizing and directing the county treasurer to disperse revenue generated from the imposition of the 1/4% tax for fire protection services and EMS services to municipalities as set out in this resolution?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Mascarenhas. Is there a second?
Second, oh, go ahead, again.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Romero. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero?
Yes.
Chair Brush?
Yes, so resolution number 2023-24 passes. Thank you very much. And this takes us to agenda item 13, our consent agenda. Commissioners, is there anything from items A through L that you would like to have pulled for comment or question? And if not, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion to approve as presented?
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil?
Yes.
Commissioner Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero?
Yes.
Chair Brush?
Yes, the consent agenda is approved. Okay, this takes us to item 14, which is our county manager's report and matters. Mr. Jaramillo.
Thank you, commissioners. It's more about the meetings I will be attending over the next few days. Tomorrow we'll be at the Cuesta School Board meeting. We will be presenting to the school board our request to use the Rio Cuesta Elementary in order to provide services for the region. Since we're unable to do so at the Amalia facility, the state, through their contract agency with North Central Economic Development District, has asked us to reopen a facility. And so we're trying to partner with the school district to do it there. This would be a 1 to 2 year lease that we would have to obtain from the school district to use the facility. As you may recall from another meeting, we are going to be we're putting money to construct a kitchen and make that an addition to the existing community center so we could provide services back up at Amalia. But that's going to be a process to obtain that funding and to construct that kitchen. At the same time, we're also asking money to tear down the existing facility as well. So hopefully the state will give us the money to tear down that facility as well. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., the New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority will be holding its Board of Directors meeting. This will take place at 10 a.m. at the Kit Carson Boardroom. So I will be out of the office attending this meeting. They're going to also be doing a site tour. Ms. O'Brien, who was here earlier, will also be making a presentation through the county's efforts. The Mortgage Finance Authority Board will announce that they will award Taos Housing Partnership a $25,000 grant to use for setup monies to help set up the office and however they need that as well. And on August 8th, the county's been asked to attend what's called an opioid response network meeting. So we've been selected to participate in this regional summit regarding having conversations around medications for opioid use and disorder in detention facilities. I mentioned the summit will be on August 8th. We can only take 6 team members. So I'm not sure why that is. I imagine even some of the commission would like to attend. I do want to take Dr. Balsamo with us. We've been meeting regularly with Dr. Balsamo and getting his ideas on how we could use the opioid monies. He is the contract doctor for Core Health, our medical provider in the detention center. But beyond that, he is a native Taosenian that is looking to help us, and understand he recently got put onto the board of directors for the Holy Cross Hospital. But I want to take Dr. Balsamo with us. I may also see about, which I've not talked to anybody except in my head, it would also take Sylvia Barella, who we've contracted with to write our opioid plan to distribute the opioid funding. I think that'd probably be good for her to attend this meeting as well. And she's also going to be here later this afternoon. We were supposed to meet with her yesterday, but she's going to be here meeting with Mr. Madrid, Mr. Cordova, and with, I'm not sure if we're meeting with Dr. Balsamo or not, but so she'll be here meeting with us, kind of a kickoff meeting for her to start working on her opioid plan for Taos County. And you got it in your emails. Over the next 4 meetings, we'll be doing our infrastructure capital improvement plan, ICIP discussion. So begin thinking about that before the meeting. We'll have the old plan in there. And then I know Ms. Montoya sent out a memo to commission and to the department heads, getting your ideas for the ICIP plan. So it's due a lot earlier this year. I believe it's due August 18th. So we'll use the 2 July meetings and the 2 meetings in August to cover it. Later next week, the New Mexico Finance Authority Board will be having the regular board meeting. On their agenda will be a grant request from the county for $50,000 for our comprehensive plan. Mr. Madrid was trying to attain other funding from Community Development Bureau from DFA, but we're not able to use that funding. So once we get the grant agreement in place, there'll also be some resolutions that the commission will have to put in pass as well, but we'll be able to put out a request for proposal at the end of the month and to hire a consultant. Part of this will also be on Ms. Stern's plate to work on the comprehensive plan. Her and Mr. Madrid have already had conversations regarding getting this funded, so this will also be on her plate to help with it. And then I just wanted to ask, is the commission receiving the press releases from the Carson National Forest?
Yes, I am.
Commissioner Romero?
I'm not sure that I have.
Okay, because then you would see, look about the Comanche fire and then we had a burn the other week. I'll make sure that you're included on there, because I didn't know if to be forwarding the emails to you, but if you're already on there. And Miguel, are you getting them? Okay. So I'll make sure Commissioner Bob Romero is included from the Carson. Colin provided Jason an update. Him and Max Moulton are progressing nicely on the redesign of the website. So Max Moulton has been quietly working on it on the sideline. So they're going to have I want to say the mock. I know there's a different term Jason gave me last week. So we'll have the prototype, the mock website later on in July for us to be looking at it. It's going to be a lot more user friendly. So we have, so I've been quietly working on that on the sideline with Max Moulton taking the lead on that for us. This next week, get everybody excited, but the paychecks will be distributed a little bit earlier because the treasurer's office, finance, the assessor's office are all preparing for year end. So all the departments are closing out their books. So we'll probably have limited service in those offices on Friday, just due to that closeout with the AS400 with Triadic and all that process that's entailed. So we'll take advantage of using our Facebook page to get the word out on that. So if anybody has business, it's better to do it this week or early part of next week. And with that, I stand for any questions.
Thank you, Brent, for the update. Commissioners, any questions for our manager?
Madam Chair,
Vice Chair.
I have one on I saw the email chain with James Kaiser regarding the resolution for the gross receipts tax for the hospital in UNM Taos. Is that going to be coming before the commission soon?
Like I indicated to Mr. Kaiser, we will put it on the July meetings. We'll probably have it up for approval on July 18th, but we probably do need to have a work study session just regarding gross receipts taxes. So I'll let the commission know when we can have time to schedule that. I guess I need to probably look about doing it the first week of July, since I think two of you plus me are gone on the week of July 10th through the 15th.
Not gone, just out of commission for a day or so. But yeah, if that was going to be my question as well, is about retreats or work studies, because I know that there are some topics, particularly that one that is time sensitive, that we might want to have a conversation about. So if we could get those scheduled, that would be good.
And yes, if I may.
Yeah, Commissioner Vihel.
So you talked about bringing on Sylvia Varela, I believe is the name. Will that plan, she'll be putting a plan together in regards to what, like reaching out to
what our
other-
options are for using the opioid monies. And so she'll be putting that plan together for us.
Okay, okay. The only reason why I'm asking is because there have been many events or several events that have taken place, and I do believe there's wisdom out there. And I'm hoping that Sylvia will in fact reach out to these other individuals. I know you mentioned Mr. Balsamo, Dr. Balsamo, which is great, but there are others as well. So I just want to make sure that in the process we don't, that we're listening to the community as well.
No, it'll be something, it won't be quite similar. It'll be conceptually, it'll be maybe not the method, but concept wise will be methods how we handle the American Rescue Plan Act monies.
And I understand that the number that the monetary amount that Taos County is going to receive is in fact on our website. Have you all seen that? I don't recall if it's accurate or not, but I understand it's 700,000.
I believe it's not on our website, but that information has been
it's not on our website.
made public.
On
Yeah.
the website.
Okay, yeah, it's been made public, so that's why like the media attention and questions from the community have started to bubble up, because people are seeing the amounts that have been distributed. It's a lead story on KUNM this morning.
Oh, was it? I didn't see that. Okay.
I can tell you in a second.
I was just wondering how accurate.
I can tell you, just give me a minute and I'll bring up.
Okay.
And while you-
Meanwhile, I did want to thank you. Oh, go ahead.
What we've received so far is 2 wires, one for $299,655.54, and a second wire for $68,120.73. So that's what we received. I think in total, we're closer to a couple $1 million.
Ah, okay, then that number is off. Yeah, I think it was.
Be receiving. Remember, there's 3 or 4 different settlements as well. There's one with Big Pharma, and then there's one with retailers. That was the executive session that we talked about with like Walgreens, Walmart. There's that settlement money, and then there's one more settlement as well.
Great, thank you. And I'm also excited to hear about the website. A matter of fact, as of yesterday, there was comments received in regards to putting our budget online and some requests. And so I look forward to certainly having all that information easily accessible by the public.
Right.
That actually raised, I had a couple of opioid response some settlement questions, but that real quick, like I'm just wondering if, and we don't have to answer this now, if there will be a process for folks to submit requests. I mean, you've heard them from us for the last 2.5 years of what we would like to see on the website, but I'm not sure if there's a point at which it's appropriate or if that's just a mess to ask us to provide feedback.
One of the words that Jason told me last week is, I think Max is taking it. Gizmo Productions is Max. Yeah, and he's done some other websites throughout the area, is that he is taking the customer approach and to the design of the website. Yeah, no, I would like to have some input on it too. I'm looking forward to when we could sit down with Max and Colin and see what it looks like, make sure it flows right. And I think there should also be more than one way to find ordinances too, and it needs to be up front. And Colin and Miss Elam have been talking about the HR component, being able to apply online. So it's a lot of conversations have happened. I'm not sure of the total amount of conversations.
Thank you. Thank you. And just to go back to our approach to how we are going to be making decisions around the opioid settlement, for just everybody, maybe share a bit of background about Sylvia Barrera, who's going to be helping us in case people aren't familiar.
She's, I don't have her resume in front of me. Probably Chris can speak to it off the top of his head. She's worked for approximately 25 years in the field. Most recently, she worked with Santa Fe Recovery Center. I think that was close to 20 years at Santa Fe Recovery Center. She has worked on detox facilities. A part of her consulting contract for us is we sit down with Mr. Trujillo here, and now that Dream Tree's finished, now we can start working on that lease. I was already putting him to work last night. She's going to help frame that lease from our perspective, that what needs to be in there as well. But then she left Santa Fe Recovery, and then she went to work for a consulting firm called Via Positiva. And with that, Mr. Madrid will fill in the gaps that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the commission. County manager got most of the gaps in his statement. Ms. Barrera has roots from Taos. Her family's from here. She attended school here in her earlier years. She actually ran Santa Fe Recovery the past decade before going on to Via Positiva. She's well regarded in the state, in the industry. I don't think there's anybody I've ever heard that doesn't think highly of her. When she ran Santa Fe Recovery, I know she grew that programming multifold. I want to say grew it like 3 or 4 times larger over her tenure by bringing in more funding. And just a wonderful person to work with. I've had the opportunity to work with her in the past, and again, she enjoys a good reputation. She's very passionate about this work and making a difference in the lives of these individuals that are
Good to hear.
that are suffering.
Thank you, Mr. Madrid. Appreciate that. Any other questions or comments for Brent about his update? No? Okay, Brent, anything else you'd like to share? Okay. Thank you very much. Then this will take us to our last section, section 15 of our agenda, Commissioners' Reports and Matters. Item A is new business to be considered at a future commission meeting. Commissioners, anything you'd like to add that we haven't hit on so far? Vice Chair Romero.
Madam Chair, yes, on the June 29th joint meeting between the town and the county, I think I had requested last time that we have an item there regarding the water systems, the sustainability of our water systems throughout the county. There is a planned water leadership council or program that will be sponsored by UNM Taos in July, August, and in September. And so it will address this issue primarily, and we could have some presenters. I think I can line up a couple of presenters that the ones that will be actually presenting this Water Leadership Institute. And it's not, when people hear water, they think it's about the sequias and water rights, and people just love the sequias, but this is really about the sustainability of our water systems, whether it's the Taos Valley water system or the mutual domestics around the county, the water sanitation districts of the town, because this actually affects all of us, and that we depend on going to turn the spigot and we have water for showers or wash our dishes or to drink water. So it's really something that's really important for the community to really begin to addressing. And this Leadership Institute is designed to begin to do that.
Thank you, Vice Chair. And maybe Mr. Manager, you could have a conversation with Town Manager Gonzalez about the agenda. And
We are
okay, thank you. Great. Commissioners, any other new business to be considered? Okay, then let's go on to item B, which is Commissioners' announcements. Commissioner Vihil.
So I have a couple of things. And I did receive a letter from United States Department of Interior, Bureau of Land Management, and it was addressed to me, but I actually think they meant to send it to our chair. And so, but it is for the entire commission, and I know our county manager is aware of this because I think he also received a letter. The subject is an invitation to participate as a cooperating agency to develop a management plan for the Rio Grande del Norte National Monument. And so it does have a deadline in which we need to respond. And I had mentioned to our manager that we obviously needed to converse. We'll share with you all and also find out what the commission's desire is. I certainly want to be part of it. And so I'll leave it at that. But Mr. Jaramillo, what was your intent to reply, or how did you see this happening?
I see this as probably another work study session, or I guess we could have had it on this meeting as an agenda topic, because you got to formulate a response and what that response would be like, and then we need to figure out who's even going to write the response. So there's some steps to it, and then
Thank you, and thank you for bringing it up, Commissioner Vihil, because it does seem like a pretty interesting and important opportunity to be a partner in each of our national monuments, national parks, whatever, has a management plan, right? And to be part of creating one, this one got on hold, I think, because of change of federal administration shortly after the monument was designated. Nothing happened, and now they're diving back in. To me personally, it's an exciting opportunity to partner in that. Maybe because I'm just curious about how it would work.
So if I could read just what they're asking of us, to please confirm your intention to accept the BLM's invitation to participate as a cooperating agency by June 30th. I'm sorry, I almost thought we blew it. Upon 2023, upon confirmation, the BLM will provide a draft MOU for your review and comment. So I get what you're saying. There has to be some.
No, and I'll make sure that we respond that we want to be participating. And I know all of you would want to, all of you care about what happens on the BLM and the Forest Service. So.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah, it is my opinion. If we don't participate, then we have to accept whatever they come up with. And we're representatives for the community, our constituents, so we need to make sure their voices are heard.
Right. And that gives us the opportunity to, on the National Monument as an example, as of this weekend, I'm still hearing about the switchbacks. And
yes, I did too.
And I know they're going to go and talk to you, Commissioner Romero, about the switchbacks too. So.
And I do have one more.
Sure.
Okay, as you all will recall, before us were many constituents concerned about a topic regarding potential retirement of grazing permits, and we paused with that resolution that was before us since Senator Heinrich had reached out and said, give us some time to talk to the community and hear their concerns. So I did receive a call back, as well as I believe, Commissioners, you all received a letter, because it is addressed to all of us. I did want to, and I did mention to Mr. Edward, I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce his name right, Tabet Cubero, which is the state director for the office of our U.S. Senator Martin Heinrich of New Mexico. And so I did say that I would read a little bit of this, because I think it's only fair that that the public understands and knows that they have been in contact with us. And so I'm going to read just briefly here. So on Wednesday, June 14, 2023, we commissioners received this email. I received a call, I believe it was the day before that. And it says, Dear Commissioners, Senator Heinrich appreciates the commission engaging with him and his staff regarding the Wildlife Livestock Conflict Resolution Act from last Congress. The dialogue with you and stakeholders across the state from north to south has been insightful. I'd like to share the following update on the Senator's current and next steps related to those discussions. The Wildlife Conflict Resolution Act has not been reintroduced this Congress, and Senator Heinrich does not plan to reintroduce the legislation this Congress. So that's now off the table, and so I believe the community is, for the most part, well aware as word gets through real quickly, and so they should be very content that speaking up, and Heinrich did listen and has decided this is not going to happen. So also it's Senator Heinrich has engaged directly with New Mexicans to support investments in agriculture and ensure the continued resilience of the lands and water we rely on. The Senator and his staff have had dozens of meetings with New Mexicans that included extensive conversations about the legislation you inquired about. The Senator and his staff are also continuing to meet with all interested stakeholders to find paths to reduce conflicts between livestock and wildlife. As chairman of the Senate Agricultural Appropriations Subcommittee, Senator Heinrich is committed to investing in New Mexico's agricultural economy and way of life. To do that, he introduced and co-sponsored a number of bills as Congress to support farmers and ranchers, including a number one bipartisan, and I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce this right, so I'm looking at our chair here, Agrivoltaics Research and Demonstration Act. Also, the second one is Bicameral Agricultural Resilience Act and Bipartisan Cattle Price Transparency and Discovery Act. So basically, Senator Heinrich is also looking forward to announcing the Senate's Agricultural Appropriations Bill in the coming weeks, and which will invest billions in supporting farmers, ranchers, and agricultural economy. They also, Edward spoke about working together with community members in Taos in agricultural endeavors, and so we have some future conversations on what that might look like, what next steps looks like. So I wanted to share this good news with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it, and appreciate the team from Heinrich's office reaching out to us about this. So thank you. I have just one announcement. I'm not sure if anyone else has any. Pamela Mathis from the BLM had reached out to us the week before last about a meeting regarding the fatalities that have happened in the rafting industry on our stretch of the beautiful Rio Grande. So Friday morning, a week ago, it was at the 9th, the BLM convened a meeting down at the visitor center in Pilar, which was mostly the raft company operators and various BLM staff, including various enforcement folks, some of whom were veteran or former river raft guides, which was really interesting. I was there. Mr. Daniel Varela, our EMS director, was there also on behalf of Taos County first responders. I was very grateful for that. His input was really key. And then Rita O'Connell from Senator Heinrich's office was there too. And I just want to commend the BLM for holding that community conversation, because it had been an idea on the table that they would shut down their access points to the river because of what had been happening. And you know, the question is it dangerous right now? Is it more dangerous than last year when the flow was low and there were still fatalities? The conversation was really rich and a lot of different perspectives. Where the BLM landed was that they were not going to close off access. One of the points behind that decision was one I was like, wow, I didn't think of that. When you have the experts on the water, you have more eyes, ears, and skills on the water. So the idea was if they shut down their access points, people are still going to be on the river. It will just be less safe because you won't have people who know the river and know how to navigate it there to help out in case of emergency. So I give them credit for listening. I give credit to everyone, especially those business people who showed up at 9 a.m. to voice their input. And it was a great meeting and another example of our community being heard, and the people who then had decision-making authority really taking what they heard into account when they made the decision. So it was just wanted to fill you on that happened. And it was a wonderful conversation. So thanks again to the BLM.
I have one last, and I'm going to backtrack a little bit here on what I'd like to see moving forward. And I know, Mr. Jaramillo, we've had a brief conversation in regards to the Talpa Foothills. First of all, I'd like to remind everyone tomorrow is the last working group meeting that will be held at 5:30 at Sagebrush. But I would like for Taos County to engage with the Carson National Forest. As you all know, commissioners, this falls mostly in my district, and it's been quite the chore in regards to trying to figure this out, but I think it's important. I have been asked by constituents that we, Taos County, take a stand in some form or fashion. I think it's important that we first start with meeting with Carson National Forest.
Thank you, Commissioner Vigil, and thank you for your effort, hours, and passion around that issue. If there are no other announcements, we can move on to item 15C, which is our board or committee reports. And I think I might have the only one this time, which is our safety committee met, the Taos County Safety Committee met last week. And for folks who are new or watching, that is where we are intended to have a representative from each department show up once a month, first Thursday of every month. And there's various topics around reducing risk and keeping each other safe in our workplace and in our work. Last week, pretty interesting, we all got training on how to use fire extinguishers. So good reminder for those who had used them already, good practice and introduction for those who hadn't. So thanks to Mike and James, our fire team, who are out there lighting fires for us to put out. It was important. And then coordinated with that is always conversation about, like, does each office or department have the supplies they need in case something happens, whether that's a cut or an active shooter or a fire. Are our fire extinguishers up to date? But I just wanted to encourage folks to pay attention to that meeting, because we only have like 50% participation from our county departments, and might just throw it all out to us as the commission team and management team about how we might encourage greater participation, because frankly, like it seems like, just another random thing that comes up in our email and our calendar, but I've learned how to use Narcan. I've learned how to give CPR, all these things that I hope I never have to know, but just in case, I actually think that it's a good step, maybe a small step, but a really good step toward keeping each other safe as we do our jobs.
And Chair, if I would like to share with the commission that you and I attended the Taos Valley Watershed Coalition field trip on the McGaffey property, public area. It was really an interesting field trip. I have to tell you that besides receiving or seeing this educational component in wildfires and some history on ring dating, is that how they call it? And it was just super, super helpful. It certainly brought awareness to wildfires and how they've always existed, and actually kind of helped me to relax now that we're seeing this other fire on this in the what is it called? In the El Frito area.
Yeah, the Comanche fire.
Concha, yeah, thank you, Concha Fire. And so I just wanted to share that we did attend that event, and it was really insightful, very helpful.
Thank you, Commissioner Beal. Any further comments, questions? Okay, then I believe this takes us to the end of our agenda. Unless, Mr. Manager, if you have anything else? No? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting at 11:35 a.m. We have that motion from Miguel. Is there a second? Second from Commissioner Mascarenhas. Madam Clerk, please call for the vote.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Vehil? Yes. Commissioner Mascarenhas?
Yes.
Vice Chair Romero?
Yes.
Chair Brush?
Yes, we are adjourned at 11:35 a.m. Thank you, everybody.